A very good evening to you, dear viewers. Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Daily Debate. I'm your host for tonight, Mohammed Abdurrahim, and tonight we'll be talking about the Egyptian economy and the efforts to enhance the investment climate, attract foreign investments and support export projects as Egypt is expanding its free zones network and also bolstering foreign investment and pushing the export-driven economic growth forward. Egypt, this huge market with great potential. So we'll be talking about the Egyptian economy here tonight and the efforts to better the investment climate and atmosphere, and we'll be doing that in the company of our dear guests with us here in the studio, economic expert Dr. Abbas Zoghary. A very good evening to you, Dr. Zoghary, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Please allow us, Dr. Zoghary, and please allow us, dear viewers, first to start our episode by taking a look at our latest top stories here for the night, as His Excellency the President received on Thursday Mr. Wael Sawan, the CEO of Shell International. Presidential spokesman Mohammed al-Shenawi stated that President al-Sisi welcomed the existing cooperation between the company and Egypt and praised the role the company is playing in the partnership with the Egyptian petroleum sector. For his part, Shell's CEO thanked the President for his continued support for cooperation between the two sides and emphasized Shell's commitment to a strategic partnership with the Egyptian oil and gas sector. Ambassador al-Shenawi added that the meeting addressed ways to enhance existing cooperation between the two sides. The President emphasized Egypt's efforts to develop the investment climate and overcome any obstacles facing investors. He also noted Egypt's commitment to paying companies dues, which enhances trust between the two sides. He emphasized the importance of Shell intensifying exploration and developmental activities in its concession areas to increase production rates and contribute to unlocking the full potential of the Egyptian oil and gas sector for mutual benefit. And also on Thursday, President al-Sisi met with Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli and Minister of Petroleum and Mineral Resources, Engineer Karim Badawi. The official spokesperson for the presidency stated that the meeting addressed efforts to meet citizens' petroleum needs and the status of petroleum exploration and reserves. The Minister of Petroleum highlighted the new oil and gas discoveries achieved between July 24 and May 25. President al-Sisi stressed the need to take all necessary measures in advance in order to ensure stable power supply, meet the needs of the electricity sector, and maintain the electrical grid so as to ensure readiness and stability of the electricity supply nationwide. All right, those were our top stories for the night. The Egyptian investment climate is our main topic here for tonight with economic expert Dr. Abbas Zoghary. Allow us again, Dr. Zoghary, and dear viewers, to watch a report first, and then we'll come back and start our discussion. Okay. Please stay with us. This report is about the advancement and the great progress made in economic zones here in Egypt by Manal Al-Ibyari and Khalid Abdelbari.
As part of the Egyptian state's efforts to enhance the investment climate, the government announced the completion of 42.8% of development work in investment zones during the first quarter of fiscal year 2024-2025. Egypt is actively expanding its network of free zones to bolster foreign investment and enhance export-driven economic growth. The General Authority for Investment and Free Zones, GAFI, has launched 6 new free zones across various locations, including Al Alamein, 6th of October City, Burj Al Arab, 10th of Ramadan City, the new administrative capital, and South Sinai. This initiative aligns with Egypt's strategic plan to increase net foreign investments to $13 to $15 billion in fiscal year 2024-2025, up from $11.1 billion in the previous year. In addition to these, the government has approved the establishment of 2 private free zones at Safaga and Dheila ports. The Safaga zone, spanning 810,000 square meters, will feature a 1,100-meter berth designed for multi-purpose terminal operations. The Dheila zone, covering 840,000 square meters, will include 1,200-meter berth focused on container terminal development. Both projects aim to enhance Egypt's port infrastructure and trade capabilities. Furthermore, GAFE is set to establish 5 new private free zones in Greater Cairo, responding to increasing investor demand. These zones are separate from the 6 planned in GAFE's roadmap and will offer incentives like tax exemptions and streamlined regulations to attract foreign direct investment. Currently, Egypt hosts 9 public free zones, contributing approximately 25% to the country's total annual export volume. The government's ongoing efforts to expand both public and private free zones underscore its commitment to creating a more attractive environment for foreign investors and boosting the nation's export capacity. These steps are part of the work program of Dr. Mustafa Madbouli's government 2024-2027 to create a stimulating investment environment and increase the competitiveness of the national economy at the regional and international levels.
All right, welcome back, dear viewers. Thank you for staying with us. We are here with Dr. Abbas Zoghary, economic expert. Dr. Zoghary, so the expansion of the free zones, of the investment zones, the economic zones, how is this, the expanding of that network across the country, how is that helping the Egyptian economy at large, and the goal to have Egypt an export-led driven economy?
Actually, we were looking for it since a very long time to have such a free zone, which we should have since a very long time, because it makes life easier for investors as well, investors from abroad and private sector in Egypt. We were looking for export, and without these free zones we cannot export as we should do, as we should looking at the regulation of the other countries. If we just look at the free zone, the Suez Canal new zone, free zone, it has opened a lot of opportunity for a lot of investors, and Egypt actually has developed about 43% of the workers that can make it easier for investor, and instead of coming to Egypt to start from zero, no, they make the project ready, and you just come in with your money and you just can make the operation and work and try to start exporting abroad. If we compare this between now and 10 years ago, not 20 years ago, I think we should be proud of our government and our president in the moment that we reach this result.
Yes,
and,
Dr. Zoghary.
And this has helped us creating job, and if I'm going to talk about the free zones, because we have also a mega project beside this one. Maybe you would like to talk about it later, but I would like to include it in my story, if you don't mind.
Sure.
We have the new administration capital, and we have the transportation and logistic. And this transportation and logistic is really a very huge mega project in Egypt, because it makes life easier for the investors, for the logistic, by railway and through the harbor by ships, or by roads and the corridor which has been built in Egypt. The new administration capital has opened a lot of opportunity for a lot of company, and then also the ministries, and everything comes to the point which we were looking for. It's a new one-stop shop. And this actually, I just like to add it to the first question which you have asked.
Yes, Dr. Zoghary, and it's good you mentioned that. You mentioned also the Suez Economic Zone, and it's really interesting to see that it has achieved net revenues of $5.7 billion in the first half of fiscal year 24-25, and that's a 32% increase compared to the first half of the prior fiscal year. And that is, I guess, especially remarkable if we note that navigation in the Suez Canal was hampered by the
war.
Trouble, yeah, the war, the Gaza war, and the trouble in the Red Sea, and the Houthi attacks. So, but the Suez Canal Economic Zone itself has a 32% increase in revenues, and I guess that was remarkable. You also mentioned the administrative capital and the free zone within the new administrative capital. Now, this project targets many industries. I want to ask you about them. Some of these industries include electronics, automotive,
yes,
apparel, footwear, and others. So what do you think about this combo, if I may say, of sectors that are to play a role in the free zone of the administrative capital? Which are there more sectors that we need to add there?
Actually, is uncount the new projects which we have in Egypt. It's a lot. We cannot mention it all, but we will only mention the big project which will create a lot of job, as we were agreed since last time. That is the need of the Egyptian people. The most important thing which I can recommend in this talk is about the automotive. Since a very long time we were looking to car industry in Egypt, which we were succeed in it on the time of President Nasser, and after that it's disappeared. Actually, I'm very happy that this has been restarted since last year. Started with Nasser company, and
the revival.
The first car will be produced in June. So they announced, the Minister of Industry.
And that's 100% made in Egypt, or is it like depending on many local components, but also importing others?
Well, I cannot, if I know 100% sure that this all manufactured in Egypt, I will tell you, but I am not sure about it, therefore I cannot promise that 100%. But I know there is something comes from abroad, like the battery. We didn't succeed to open the battery company yet, or the factory yet, but the battery is from abroad, and the body of the motor is also from abroad, but the most of the car is manufactured in Egypt.
This is good for the market. This is good for the...
Actually, it will save Egypt billions of dollars
of imports.
For import, for car export, and also
so we're saving foreign currency here.
Will be decreasing the car prices for the Egyptian people. As you...
We've been reading about a 10% decrease, a 20% decrease in car prices recently, but should we expect more of that? After all, I mean, the jump was huge. I mean, it was unbelievable. So even if we get a 10 or 20% correction, I think people want to see more.
I think
more of a correction.
I can tell you for sure that the car price will be a 40% decrease.
Right. From the peak it reached or from today?
No, from today price.
Really?
The
A
car
40%?
40% for the Egyptian car. I'm not
That's
talking
an
about.
important
I'm not
expectation, by the way.
I'm not talking about the cars which you import from abroad.
Right.
I'm talking about the car which will be produced in
Produced
Egypt.
in Egypt, yeah.
And as I know for sure, the first car production will be in June. That will be ready for sale. That's what I can tell you about it.
Okay.
And this.
But this should affect the entire market, shouldn't it?
Well,
I mean,
it depends. It depends of the local market. I think if you are
It's supply and demand after
a normal
all.
Egyptian and you are looking for a normal transportation which is easier, which compared to the price what you can afford, I think it will be like the time which was before when NAS company start, that each Egyptian were driving the Fiat 128.
Yeah. I knew you were going to say that. It's the first thing that popped to my mind.
And I could remember. And so they will repeat the time. And actually I'm very happy for it. And it's not this only for the car motors. They have finished, I think you have seen the report since 2 days ago. They have finished the company of producing the
Tires?
No, not the tires, the electric wires in the car.
Okay.
This is already produced in Egypt since 2 days. They are starting for production, and this going to.
There's an effort also in the tires department?
The tire department, the first factory, actually there is a factory in port site, which was very small, and because the capacity of the money and then for the owner was limited. So because of the tire prices is getting very high, I could tell you about, because I have a company for transportation, and one big tire, it cost about 25,000 pounds, which is enormous. So the government and the Minister of Industry, this man, I am very proud of him, because he supports each manufacturers. He supports the factory, and the factory is enlarged, and now they could start with production with all kind of tires for the need of Egypt.
Very good.
So you will see it soon.
We've talked much about the cars, and I guess people want to hear about this.
It's important factor.
It's important for everyone. Let's go back to the investment atmosphere. How do you see the investment legislation? Do you see it as a friendly legislation at the moment, as a member of the businessman community, or do you need more investment-friendly legislation?
I have said it before, and I will repeat it again. I have mentioned to you that our private sector in Egypt is very rich, but they need support and they need safety. Before I was talking about, let's try to get the investors from abroad. I was saying that because we need the
capital.
Not only the capital.
The know-how.
We need the know-how. We need the know-how. Actually, I will go for the know-how more than the capital, because the capital we have. The private sector in Egypt have the capital, but the know-how we miss it. And I ask if they could go abroad to the countries which like Egypt. I mean, we are not yet we are a big country, but in the level of industry we're not a developed. We are not. I mean, we are not yet. We are not yet. So we need a country like China, like Korea, like the Soviet Union.
Although it amazes me when China is described as a developing nation. I mean, this is the world's #2 economy, and who knows when it will be number one.
But the way they do business and investment is very safe, because they are not looking for anything else instead of investment. They would like to invest and let people work from them country to come here. They would like to make banks, they would like to invest. But they are not people that are going to invade the country to stay on it or to take it over. So those people you need to have as a partner. They are not bad, they are good people. And they have the know-how. And the Koreans, they have also the know-how. And the Soviet Union, they have the know-how. I mean, it's not the legacy of the European and the American. This is too high for us. So let's go with those people, and then we can take the step from the beginning, and then I think we'll succeed.
Yeah, of course, it's not just the Western model. I mean, and we've had great success stories in Asia.
Exactly. For the investors from abroad, we could make it more friendly for making things easier than before and now. I have asked for one-stop shop since a very long time, that we could localize it, and we have it now on the new administration capital, and I hope the government and the Minister of Industrial will give it more attention, that this will be 100% working and then quicker. That each investor who comes to Egypt, he could get some people from the government to support him, to lead him, that he could finish his paper quickly, that he could go to his company, which he will invest, and then go to work in production that we could export.
Okay. Dr. Zoghary, the new free zones, how do they differ from the existing ones or the old ones in terms of incentives, in terms of sector focus, in terms of potential creation of jobs, and you've talked about jobs more than once, because I mean that's the goal in the end. I mean, create jobs, and jobs will bring about a prosperity for all.
The new free zone, comparing with the old one, they were missing the infrastructures. The infrastructure which we had before was not enough for production. But the president was looking for, I would like to build the place and then I will rent it or I will sell it. And this has helped a lot for making work easier and making production easier and make investors comfortable to invest the money with safety that they will collect it maybe in a year or 2 years, and not that you have to wait 5 years that they can get an effort of them investment. That is the difference.
Okay, very important indeed. Now, what about the energy sector? How important is it in today's world, especially the renewable energy projects, and how can they contribute to economic growth in
well, actually, Egypt looking for an energy center in the Middle East and Europe, because we have the opportunity of gas liquidation, and we have the opportunity of electricity, and as you will know that we have the Zoghary gas field, which we had a problem with water leaking since a very long time, because we didn't pay them the money for the people who are working there. But now the government has paid everything, and the field is in well production. So we will not import any gas from abroad anymore. We will not have any problem with our electricity next summer, as the government has announced it, and the Prime Minister too. And this because of the capacity we have, and also we have the line with Saudi and the Emirates and also Europe. So we are starting, and we have also the green energy. So we start already to export our energy to abroad. So I am expecting in the future that Egypt will be a center of the energy prone on the area.
Very good. Now, we haven't talked about the textile industry or the pharmaceutical industry, and these are two key industries here in Egypt. Of course, Egypt has a diversified economy. We talked about the automotive in detail a little while ago. So I want to ask you about the role of the textile and pharmaceutical industries in the free zones. How can they help? Again, the idea of the export-driven economy and the growth led by exports.
Actually, we export textiles since a very long time, but was in all the methods. We were only export the towels and underwear and then all these easier things. But since that they localized the textile company in Mahalla, and the president has paid and work very hard and for investors, and they make the new factory, the new modern factory I could call, which make the production very quicker and very efficient in the modern ways of the use, what they need abroad and what they need in the whole world. I'm expecting with cultivate and then aggregate more land for planting cotton, that we could have our long leaves cotton, and this makes Egypt very special in the cotton manufacturers. So this is in the good way, and this has delivered a result. And we export a lot of textile to the States, as you will know. This is something about the textile which is not in details, but it's very short. If I go to the pharmacist, as you will know that Egypt has signed a contract with the United States that Egypt will deliver a lot of medicine to the United States, because we have two big factories. So the field of the pharmacist is since 2 years was very active in Africa, or the AFRIC, because Egypt export a lot of medicine to Africa, which was very wise. But now we expanded to the United States and Europe.
Since you mentioned cooperation with the U.S. more than once before we watched the second and final report here in the program, I wanted to ask you about the tariffs, the Trump tariffs. I mean, where are they now? I mean, have they been paused? We're not hearing much about them. Is it in the process of negotiations? Are they likely to be cancelled, or is it? And how will it affect, if it goes into effect, any exports to the or imports from the U.S.?
You know, we are not talking about politics here, but I will tell you what I know in a very efficient way.
Please.
Politics is competitive with benefits. Each country is, and as you know, it's not only the economic, it's the politician and economic. The both words are connected, because without politician you cannot be succeed in economic. If you want to have your country successful economically, you should have a good relation with many countries, that you could get the know-how from them and you export your production to them. So the relation between the United States and Egypt, it's strong since a very long time, but because of a lot of problem from the neighbor and a lot of the
Israel
fake facts which was delivered to the States, we have a very wise political government, and we have a very wise president, and he play his role very, very clever and very wisely. Before, Egypt was, if something happened to the neighbor, we go with our army, and then we had. But now we are looking for our benefits. What's in it for us? To have a good relation with the Soviet Union. We have the Daba, as you know. And
of course, with Russia,
with Russia.
Of course,
what we will have, what is for us if we have a good relation with the States? Do you think...
Egypt has good relations with everyone.
But if you go back to President Trump, I think the man is wise. He has a safe, very economic gap for his country, because the economic situation in the States was very bad after President Biden, because the last government,
the inflation,
they spent a lot of money for abroad for whatever it is, we cannot mention. But Trump became, and there is a gap of economic, he filled already, and he goes for his country. But I think, that's my thought, and that's what I know from abroad, I think that he will be good for Egypt.
Okay. Dr. Zoghary, dear viewers, let's watch this report.
Yes.
By our dear colleagues Manal Ibrari and Khalid Abdelbari, and it's about Egypt's huge potential in many areas in the investment domain, and the free zones, of course, and the industrial, agricultural, and other sectors. So watch it, and please stay with us. We'll be back to conclude this episode after this report.
Egypt possesses significant potential to leverage its existing agriculture, manufacturing, and services sectors, a large domestic market, and strategic geographic location as a gateway to Africa, Asia, and Europe. These factors can be harnessed to attract both foreign and domestic investments. Growth is forecast to increase from 2.4% in fiscal year 2024 to 3.8%, 4.2%, and 4.6% in fiscal year 2025, 2026, and 2027 respectively, driven by increased private consumption due to easing inflation and higher private investment. The budget deficit is projected to surge to 7.2% of GDP in fiscal year 2025 from 3.6% in fiscal year 2024 due to higher interest payments and a decline in non-tax revenues compared to the previous year, which had benefited from one-time revenues generated by Ras al-Hikma deal. Accelerating structural reforms to create a conducive environment for the private sector, to strengthen institutions and macro-fiscal stability, and to advance human development are all critical for productivity growth and improved socio-economic outcomes. Egypt has been actively pursuing a range of reforms and initiatives to create a more stimulating investment environment and boost the competitiveness of its national economy, both regionally and internationally. One of these is Investment Law number 72 of the year 2017, which introduced a new framework offering tax incentives, guarantees against nationalization, simplified registration processes, and dispute resolution mechanisms.
Welcome back, dear viewers. We are here with Dr. Abbas Zoghary, the economic expert. We only have 2 minutes remaining. So I wanted to wrap up, Dr. Zoghary, by asking you about the importance of the distribution of these economic zones and investment zones and the mega projects, the huge infrastructure projects across the country, because we are seeing really a geographical distribution, really more or less equally weighted across the board. How important is that to achieving the vision of economic growth and sustainable growth?
Actually, if we go to thank those people, we will never have the right word to thank them. Because what happened in Egypt in the past 5 years until now, and in 2 years more, it's a gift from God. Our transportation, our roads, our harbor, our railways, as I have said before, we were transported the containers with trucks. and it kills our road and it kills our environment. And now, since that they have arranged the railway and the transportation with the big containers from the harbor by the railway, that has helped our economy a lot and make it quicker, that we could bring it from the south to north in quantity of hours and not days. And this is a big chance for investment in Egypt as well for our economy. That has made life easier for internal in Egypt, for our commercial, and also for the transportation for our export to Europe and to the other countries in the world. If I see now that the transportation of the container from Alex to Aswan, with the truck it takes days, and with the train it takes a few hours. So, and also the most important thing is
jobs.
Then you create jobs.
This helps create jobs.
And also the most important thing, the new railway line, which will be on the east side of the
administrative.
No, the Nile.
The Nile.
It will be for the new train.
Okay.
And the time from Cairo to Aswan will be only 4 hours. So you can travel from.
Very impressive.
You can travel only from Cairo to Aswan in 4 hours. I have traveled by train, the sleeping train, in February, and my experience.
How much time did it take?
It was about 12 hours,
okay.
And my experience was bad. And this is a message for Minister Kamel Wazir. Please try to arrange it soon, or change the sleeping train. That will help our tourism. That we will have sufficient train, clean train, and then will be better for us.
Okay, we have train, we have plane, and we have the new transportation method, which will make it a 4-hour trip, Cairo-Aswan. Thank you very much, Dr. Abbas Zoghary.
My pleasure.
Pleasure to have you with us, and thank you to the viewers for watching us. Please stay with 9 TV.